What's up YouTube, Dale here from Zephyr Wargames, and today I'm going to show you some very basic Dark World combos involving Genta and Rainbow. So both of these cards are integral to the deck in general, no matter whether you are playing a Danger version or if you are playing a Pure version, and this particular combo takes away RNG because it doesn't matter what you get, you're guaranteed to get these particular outcomes. The combos I'm going to show you are very simply going to be, number one is a 2-card hand resource management combo. Number 2 will be the hand loop combo, which will loop your opponent for a minimum of 2, depending on what else you have. And then the last combo I will show you will be the one where you can draw up to 4 cards, and then it be able, depending on what else you have, to go a little bit further. So with all of that out of the way, please smash that like button, hit that notification bell, and subscribe so you don't miss out on any more upcoming content. So we're going to zoom this out and show you the full board, and in doing so we're going to start our combo. So you start off by discarding the Genta and searching yourselves out a Gate of the Dark World. You're then going to activate the Gate of the Dark World and use this effect to banish the Genta from the graveyard as cost and discard your Rainbow. This will then allow you to draw 1 random card. Now, it doesn't matter what you draw. Obviously, in actual play, it will adapt the route that you're going for, but for now we're just going to show what card you've been able to add. Then on the new chain, you're going to go chain it 1 Rainbow and chain it 2 Genta so you can protect your Rainbow from being ashed or stopped. Summon out the Genta, and then Rainbow's effect will go off to let you add a level 5 or higher. Because this is the hand resource combo, you're going to go for Grepher Dragon because this is going to allow you to add the Rainbow back to your hand as you go. So then you'll bring back the Rainbow and add the Genta back to the hand, or the Genta back to the hand. You then use Genta's effect again because its discard effect to search you out Gate of the Dark World is not a hard once per turn, and this is going to allow you to activate another copy of the gate. You'll then do the exact same process by banishing the Genta from the graveyard, discarding the Grepher. Now obviously if your opponent has a monster, you will be able to destroy that, or a card in general, so this is a good go second. You've been able to draw 2 new cards, and then you get to return the Rainbow back to the hand. So what this combo is to show is that you'll also still have 3 cards from your opening hand as well. But this is how you get a Grepher Dragon to the board with a Gate of the Dark World, and you've been able to re-loop some hand resource. So if any of these cards are a danger, Dark World dealing, card destruction, trading, you name it, you're going to be able to go that little bit further. So very basic, very simple, but I thought I'd show you and highlight this particular combo so you can kind of see where it leads you at base minimum. So now what we can do is we're going to reset this back to the Genta and the Rainbow, and we're going to add 1 more card to this combo, and that card we're going to add is the Ceruli. Now this is going to allow us to hand loop our opponent for 2 at minimum. Now obviously if you do play the tech that I do in the deck in the form of the Fairytale Luna, you'll be able to do it at least a couple more times depending on how many cards you have in order to complete a discard. So what we're going to do here is you're going to start off with the Genta, you're going to discard this again to get you the Gate of the Dark World. You're going to activate the Gate of the Dark World and do the exact same play by banishing the Genta. However, this time, rather than discarding the Rainbow, you're going to discard the Ceruli and draw a random card. Now again, what you're going to have to do here is you're going to be able to go chain it 1 Ceruli, chain it 2 Genta. Genta will summon itself back to the board, and the Ceruli will go to your opponent's side of the board. This will then trigger. Now keep in mind, it's very important that when you place the Ceruli, it goes in front of one of the extra monster zones, because this is how you're going to be able to return it to the hand and do it for the loop. So we're going to put it in front of a main monster zone, and this will then trigger Ceruli's effect to make us, as the turn player, discard a card in the form of Rainbow, as this is the guaranteed card we have. This will now trigger both effects of Rainbow. The first one is, of course, to add a level 5 or higher. And in this particular route, because we're not going for the hand resource, we're going to go for Silver. And then the one that we get to special summon from the deck is going to be Snow. Now, it's not really worth it. You could go for a rank 4 here as well. In doing so, this will then give you access in order to use Daguerres and other such items. So what you want to do here is you want to use Rainbow's effect, and this is going to let you return the Genta to the hand. It's also very important that before you go any further with this, that you link these 2 together, your Snow and your Rainbow, and you go into the Akashic Magician. Now by going into the Akashic Magician, because you've put it into front of a zone of a link monster points to, the Akashic Magician will then be able to return the Ceruli to your hand. So you've been able to gain a bit more resource, and as you can see, we started our hand with Genta plus Silver and Ceruli, and all we've really done is swapped our Rainbow for a Silver, a random card, and an Akashic Magician. So we're going to put this into the extra monster zone where it would rightfully be, and then you're going to use Genta's effect again, discarding it in order to add the second Gate of the Dark World. You're then going to activate the Gate of the Dark World again and then use its effect. Now it's up to you whether you want to banish the Snow and save the Genta for the next turn, but it's entirely up to you. So we're going to banish the snow on this one, and we're going to discard the Cerulean. You then get to draw another new random card, and in doing so, you'll be able to trigger the Cerulean effect. So Cerulean is going to go back to our opponent's side. You can, again, put it in front of a Akashic if you want to, but you're not going to be able to return it that way. You're going for your normal summon of Luna in order to do that for a second consecutive turn. You're then going to trigger the Cerulean effect again, or your opponent is going to be forced to mandatorily trigger that as well, and this is going to discard your silver. Because silver was discarded via your opponent's card effect, you are going to rip 2 of their cards from their hand, or they are going to selectively put 2 of their cards back to the bottom of the deck, meaning that their hand is currently on 3. This will then trigger silver's other effect to bring it back to the board, and you also have that beautiful ability to return the silver back to your hand for a rainbow. Now you can end your combo here depending on what else you have in hand. Again, keeping in mind that you're still going to have 2 additional cards in your opening hand of 5 as well. So you've kind of, with your hand advantage, you've regained your hand advantage. You've got a gate, a Akashic, and you've got a rainbow. Now, obviously, if any of these are Luna, you can then use Luna to return this to the hand, and then you're working on other ways of discarding stuff like a session, being able to dump snow to get effects off of that as well. Now, let's say you did have another card in here like snow, you would have the ability to link the Akashic Magician and the rainbow again, and in this one, we're actually going to go into the Muckraker from the Underworld. Now what this is going to allow us to do is this is going to allow us to leave our opponent with 3 cards in their hand. We're going to have nearly a full hand, and we're going to be able to link away the Cerulean so they don't have a monster on the board, unless you're against Kashtira's, and you're probably going to want to leave that Cerulean there. So, with the Muckraker effect, what you're going to want to do here is you're going to want to be able to discard a card. This is probably where we should leave Snow in the graveyard rather than Genta, sorry. So use Muckraker's effect, you're going to target the Snow in the graveyard, and you're going to discard the silver. This will then let you summon back the Snow. On resolution, because you discarded the silver as card effect, silver will come back to the board, and then it's entirely up to you on what you want to add back to your hand, depending on what you're going to try and go for. So you'll use rainbow to return either one of these to the hand. Now snow is going to be more effective depending on what else I have in my hand. So if I've got something like an accession, or if I've got another way of getting it discarded, that will lead me to an accession as well. This will then bring back Rainbow. Now keep in mind you are locked into Fiends, but this is where it gets really good because you can now link with your Muckraker plus your Rainbow, Silver and Cerulean, and you're going to go into an Underworld Goddess. So you've been able to get a Link 5 plus the field spell, so it will be buffed a little bit as well, and you've got a full hand of 5 with a Snow active. You haven't even normal summoned yet, so if you really wanted to, you could normal summon the Snow and then return the Snow to the hand for the Rainbow. So that's how you can re-loop some resources and get you into this very cool position. Keep in mind as well that your opponent only has 3 cards in their hand. Yes, they'll draw 1 more for turn, but that is 2 cards less than they would have had at the start of the turn. So now again, we're going to rewind this and we're going to start the combo again using the exact same ability. So it just shows you how much change can happen with 1 card added to it. So by resetting this state back to Rainbow and Genta, and then we're going to add a single copy of Snow to this. This is going to be able to give you a couple more draws. It also can adapt depending on what else you go for. So you do have flexibility, which is really nice. So we're going to clear those off. Again, you're going to start off by discarding the Genta. The Genta is going to get you access to the gate. You're going to activate the gate, and then this is the point of where you might want to adapt it, depending on what you're going to go for. So off of the gate, we're going to discard the Snow and banish the Genta. Again, you'll draw 1 random card. At this point, of course, you're going to go chain link 1 Snow, chain link 2 Genta. Genta's going to come back to the board. Snow's effect will then allow you to add a Dark World card. Now, it's entirely up to you on what you want to add, but because I'm going to go for the discard effect and get me the draws as much as possible, I'm actually going to go for the Archive. So I want to show you how this card is actually insane for this deck. So we're going to activate the Archives. We're going to use Archives effect in order to discard the Rainbow. Now, doing so as part of its effect, you get to discard a Dark World monster, and if you do, Dark World monsters you currently control gain attack equal to the level of the discarded monster had in the hand times 100. And then if a monster whose original type is Fiend is discarded from your hand by effect of a Dark World card, which this is, you get to discard 1 card and draw 2, all in the same effect. So what you're going to do here, you have got 1 card to discard, so it's completely legal to do so. You're going to be discarding your Rainbow to boost up your Genta. At this point, what you're going to be able to do is you're going to be able to declare Dark World Archives as chain link 1, and you're going to use Rainbow as chain link 2. And it's really important that you do that because it means you can actually discard the card that you get off of Rainbow for your discard and draw effect of Archives. So at this point here, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to resolve the archives by discarding the silver and drawing 2 new cards. And then on a new chain, you get to resolve the silver to summon itself back to the board. At this point, what you can do is you can return the Genta to the hand and bring back Rainbow. And then, of course, you can use Genta's effect again, discarding itself in order to get you that second gate of the Dark World. Now, this is where it depends. You need to have another Dark World in the hand in order, or really a Fiend in the hand, in order to resolve the second gate, which I would assume from the 3 cards you've drawn, you would have. If you don't, you still have ways to mandatorily trigger some of these cards by going into a Muckraker, and then of course you can lead yourself into routes. If you've got something like a Cerulli, for example, you can do that. You can go for a hand loop. It really does adapt and depend on what else you have. Keeping in mind as well, you will still have 2 additional cards in your hand from your starting play as well. So again, it's very adaptive. If you're playing the danger package, it does open up the door for RNG factors, which basically means if you're feeling lucky, you may get the right outcome you need, but it's never guaranteed that your opponent is going to snipe the exact card you need in order to continue your combos. So I wanted to show you these 3 combos to show you exactly what you have within your control to get you as far as you possibly could, as well in a short period of time. So again, like I said, you can then go at that a little bit further. Let's say we activate a second gate. The gate can then banish your Genta. Again, discard a card. Ideally, it's going to be a Dark World card, so you're going to get some sort of benefit from it, but then it would basically replace itself with a fresh card as well. So at the base minimum, you'll be ending on a Rainbow and a Silver plus 5 cards in hand. I would be amazed if these 5 cards in your hand don't do anything to help benefit your board further. And that is it. Some very basic Dark World combos. Like I said, a lot of the deck does revolve around RNG factors if you are playing the dangers. If you're not playing the dangers, it will resolve more around stuff like Dark World dealings, card destruction, everything else that can help trigger discard effects of the Dark Worlds. And I can't wait until we get the new Dark Corridor. Yes, it is not a technically searchable card unless you are going to play Triple Tactic Thrust, but it is still very, very cool that it allows you to add a Dark World and discard all in part of effect as well. Anyway, I hope you found this video informative and helpful, and it's going to give you a very basic breakdown of what you might need to know, as I feel that a combo like this, or these combos I've shown, are mandatory to know. They're the very base minimum, and they take away all of the luck factor revolving around dangers. So at the base minimum, if you wanted to save your danger effects until you've been able to complete that particular type of play in any of the combos that I've shown you, you've been able to do so, and then you can start triggering your dangers. You can use your Liner to bring back the Cerulli and go again to loop your opponent for an additional 2 cards, and then that's where during your opponent's turn, when they draw for turn, you're able to loop them for another 2 cards as well, or you activate Triple Tactic Thrust, or Talents, considering they have Cerulli and it was them that activated it. You can then rip the last card from your opponent's hand, meaning that they draw for turn, and that is the only card they can play to try and break your board, considering one of your monsters is a effect changer in the form of the fusion monster, basically saying the first spell, trap, or monster effect that is a normal spell, trap, or monster effect is activated, you can change it to I discard a card. So, and that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Any questions at all, by all means, please let me know in the comments down below. I'll be more than happy to answer them for you. I do really enjoy Dark Worlds. I think it's a really cool, aggressive style deck. And it is one that doesn't need to rely on the extra deck, depending on the type of build that you go with. For now, as absolutely always, stay safe. And of course, happy dueling.